Hey, what's up, everybody? What's good? I've been mad busy, been making some adjustments. I have had a whole lot of stuff going on, and I had to take care of some things just to make sure my vocation is on the path of success, as well as other things that are outside of that I'm working on. I didn't want to, just leave everybody hanging. So it's a work in progress. As I always say, everything is a work in progress. Can't really get into everything. My mind is still kind of on work. I'm trying to get it off work, leave work at work, and I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll enjoy a weekend away from all that. But I think what I've learned this week is to release control, the effort to control life, to be in control of everything. Because with that, what I found is that it comes with stress, worry, anxiety, and I don't really suffer from those things. I can say I've dealt with some stress and some worry in times past, more stress here lately, to be transparent. But I was looking at where that comes from. My meditation, and I haven't really had time to meditate like I used to in this season, but I yet do it as I can. And so I began to meditate and think about what was causing everything that I was feeling that wasn't positive. Where was it coming from? What was it stemming from? And it was because I was trying to control things I couldn't control. I wanted to be in control of things that I had no control of. And I had to be real about what those things were, because I had some denial in some areas that I had to confront and work out so that it wouldn't be something that life has to present to me to deal with in a different way. And one of the things I've realized in letting go and just enjoying life, taking it one day at a time, has a different meaning to me now. I'll put it that way. And what I've learned and how that works is that from the time we start our day, we got to realize it's a whole new day. Even though we got to be real, we still have some of the same things in the new day to deal with that are from old, from yesterday. Here's what we got to look at. With it being a brand new day, it's a brand new opportunity. It's more life to live. It's more of a story to be written and to be told. So with that, things that are going to happen, they're going to happen however they happen. Either they're going to work out in one way or another, but they'll work out. As long as we are doing the best we can to just manage what we can manage. And we got to be real with that. We got to manage what we can manage on a level by level basis, person to person. For me personally, in order for me to remain calm and have peace, which is very important to me, because that's where my solutions come from, is a level head. I won't get into all the details of that, but I'm going to say this: letting go of the things that are destroying you is very important. It's essential. I won't say it's very important. It's a must. It's a must, because your spirit, your soul, your body, they're all connected in one way or another. I've heard different ideas of it, and I've studied a few different things that has really opened me up to more questions than answers. However, we do know for a fact that the state of our soul affects our bodies. You can't carry all that anxiety and all that fear and all that anger and all that stuff that you want to let go of. You don't want to feel that. We don't want that stuff, and we have to release it because it affects our bodies. A lot of times what happens is that heaviness in our soul turns into heaviness starting in our body. Let's talk about in our body, right? It starts with it starts with looking at the inside first. So if the body is unhealthy, I guarantee it's connected to something to the soul. And we have the ability to deal with that stuff with the power of our minds, so that we can change the condition of our mind, if you will, our body and our soul. So the way I think it really works, and I'm still working on this, y'all. I'm still processing this. I'm just sharing. The way I think that this works is that as our mind receives from the spirit and the spirit realm what it should receive. Now notice I said as the mind receives, you gotta be open to receive. You can't fight what the help is. You can't fight your help, okay? So if you're open to receive from the spirit, you change the condition of your soul by what's coming into the mind. I don't know if I'm doing a good job to explain that the way that I'm feeling it, but I'm gonna try real quick, okay? I'm gonna try to repackage this for you. This is the way I see it, okay? This is just my point of view from my little old experience and my time on this planet in this experience of life. That from a higher place, what I call the spirit realm, when we are ready, when we're open, I ain't trying to race you, man, get on somewhere. Anyway, when we're open to receive, what we get is enriching and enlightening, and it comes into our minds and hearts. And really, if you come down to look at that, the mind and the heart, let's just put it one in the same, mind and heart, okay? So it comes into our minds and our hearts, and I'm not going to overcomplicate this, and it changes the condition of our soul, over our emotional state, what we feel, and what some people perceive as the aura, because it's also tied into what we put out, and it's connected to the frequency that we're on. So when that changes, when the quality of the soul changes, because the quality of the mind has changed you to being enlightened, then the body is going to get the benefits as well. Now, the body is the earthly vessel, or the physical vessel in which we are having all these experiences. So it's important that the body be optimal as much as possible for us to be able to achieve our soul mission, or let's just say our mission for being here. I don't want to use terms that are just all woo-woo and you know, and all that. I'm not trying to make this stuff all extra. I'm really just trying to make it easy to absorb so that people can get down to the bottom of what's going to help them according to what I've had help me. That's it for me. It's nothing deeper than that. So what I've learned to do in order to release all that stuff I used to carry, and believe me, if I got deep into my story or my life experience, you'd be like, man, you had a hell of a lot to release. I had a shitload of stuff to release. Excuse me, I'm really trying to work on my language, y'all, but I ain't perfect, okay? All right, so I had a whole lot of shit I was carrying. I had a whole lot of heaviness I was carrying for years, and it affected my body in a variety of ways. From when I was younger, and all the issues I used to have with breathing and all this other stuff I had been through. I'm not going to get into all that. What I have learned in order to be able to experience the freedom from those things I used to be bound to is that when I get into a space to say and acknowledge in truth and to know that this is the fact, this is not something I merely believe, I know it, that things are going to work out best and for my good as long as my mind is working for my good. If your mind is not working for your good, things are not likely to work out for your good. And the reason I say likely is because I believe we are co-creators of our life as far as what we experience and what we gain. We are not in complete control of everything. We are not in complete control of everything. That's the whole point that I'm making. We're not in complete control of everything. So what we can control is connected to the results that we get as it relates to our total health. When I'm talking about mind, soul, body, all together, who we are, all together, you can say spirit and all that stuff. I'm not complicating this stuff, okay? I'm not making this stuff complicated. So this week, I'm not gonna just say this week, this whole past, I don't know, month maybe, it's been a lot of turbulence. It's been some ebbs and flows. It's been calm days and it's been hectic days. And one thing I've noticed that's been consistent is that people have been, in many respects, unpredictable. There's been a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of mood swings that people act according to. So I used to sit up and think, oh, they're just out of character because of what they're feeling. No, when somebody is acting out based upon what they're feeling, you get a revelation of their character. So I'm not one that's going to give people excuses and make excuses for people. We are seeing people for who they really are when they are challenged, when they are triggered. You see a person's depth. And we got some ugly stuff that we're capable of. This is why it's so important that we grow over the years so that we don't become less instead of becoming more as we progress in time. So I've seen people cut up and act up, smirks, just getting out of place. People not staying in their lane. And it's part of everybody being here dealing with all the stuff they got to deal with. But mature people, mature souls, govern themselves far better because they understand. And we come into the understanding and the overstanding and understanding of what is going to work for us. And we know that it starts with our mind. Our mind has to be open. Our mind and heart. When I say mind, I'm not separating the heart from it. Our minds and hearts, which I believe should be considered as one, should be open to receive from higher places. Because if you think about it, we are oftentimes in our life experience open to receive from lower places. It's easier to receive from lower places according to our nature. And some people believe that's just the way it is. It's a lifelong struggle, and that may be. I remain optimistic to say that I believe that we can have a change of our nature and we can get tuned in so strong to higher places where even though we feel and we can see and we can clearly hear the message from lower places, we're not limited to where we don't know how to receive and receive clearly from the higher places. So where it seems as though we're now, well, not seems, and so we're attuned till we get a little stronger and better in the way we conduct ourselves and the way that we are. We are attuned from birth to operate in the realm of our carnal senses where we don't know how right off the bat, or I think sometimes we lose how to activate our spiritual senses, and everybody has them. Don't turn it off. Don't turn me off because I said that. You think, oh, that's for them special people. That's for y'all special people. No, just pay attention to what you are sensing in situations that's navigating you a certain way. And here's the thing that's challenging with that, especially as you're getting challenged to an awakening or what have you. Many of us are just going to have faith to say we got to take steps to get to learn who we are. And that's going to come with making some mistakes as much as it's going to come with success and having wins. So it's uncomfortable because one of the things that we operate the easiest out of is fear of the unknown. And when it comes to people, that is a great unknown. So sometimes when it comes to anything dealing with people or a person, there is the unknown. So there's fear, there's hesitation and all that. And there's going to be communication from both sides, higher and lower, when it comes to frequency and all that stuff. So we really, really got to attune our discernment to overcome what we have been comfortable in that's given us the predictable results that we've had for so long. For those of us that have been around for a little while, for those of you who are very young and you have not really got a pattern of results that come from behavior because you're just stepping into your own. I don't know, maybe you're very young listening to this. You'll get there. Well, my best advice to you is be courageous. Do not be fearful. In the book of Joshua, I believe it's Joshua 1:8 or 1:9, you know, where Joshua is, he has taken the mantle of Moses, or Moshe, as people may say in Hebrew, whatever dialectic of Hebrew you ascribe to. When Joshua was taking the mantle, Creator tells Joshua, the Most High tells Joshua, be brave and courageous. And there's a part in that passage, as you continue to read, that the Most High repeats this to Joshua and says, did I not say to be brave and be courageous? So when you look at what Joshua had as a life mission and what was taking place prior to Joshua stepping into his own, because Joshua was a slave, and he cleaved to Moses and said to Moses, or Moshe, however you want to pronounce that, I'm going to follow you. Everywhere you go, I'm going to follow you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. What I see in you, I want to be connected to. I'm here. And you read the story and you get all into that. It's all connected to Exodus and all that. I'm not going to get into Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and all that. All I'm going to say, and don't get me wrong, I don't sleep on the Bible at all. I'm not a Bible thumper. Although I can get into conversations about a lot about the Bible when it comes to all these different things when it's related to the history of it. And I can get into things like other texts too. I'm not one that's all into the Quran and all that, but I grew up as a pastor's son, and not just any pastor's son. My dad was a heavy studier. So the things... I'm trying to think of what it's at the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to think of what it's called. The concordance and all those different things, all the inductive studies of the Bible, getting into the Greek, the Hebrew, the source before it got over to English, because you lose so much when you get into English on any translation of a holy book. So it's always good to get deeper understanding as you can, as you have appetite for it. Although the Spirit will give you a revelation, even in your own language. You don't have to go to doing all this stuff. Some are called to study deeper than others. Everybody got their own lane. But that's my background. And then I went through these stages where I got into Eastern philosophy and I got into other things. So I'm going to say this. I don't ascribe to any religion, because religion is where Creator and the Most High, religion limits all that, in my opinion. Spirituality is saying, you know what, we're willing. True spirituality is the admission and the journey. First of all, it's the admission that we don't know the infinite, yet we are open to know the infinite for our highest good. That's true spirituality. There is a other side where it's not about the highest good, and I'm not getting into all that, but true spirituality is being able to be a true student, to go forth as a child, not being childish, but as a child. A child absorbs and learns and applies so much. It's the developmental stage of life, that's childhood. So we have to go in, and we have to realize too, we are students in this realm and in this experience that we have that we call life. We are students, and we're here on missions, and there's so much to this that words can't get into all of it. Or once you start categorizing and limiting it and cutting it all off, you get religion. So I'm not here for that. I'm getting what I get as my life experience. I'm all about improving and building and getting better, trying new things. I'm open-minded to try new things. I like trying new food. I like to explore. I like to gain wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and apply it, and all that stuff. We exist, so let's enjoy existing. And that's what I'm all about in a whole different way. So that's what the North Node is all about. It's all about that. I can tell you, it's been a challenge. This week and the last week was a challenge. This week has been a challenge. And I've had to do some work on some things. And in this life, as we pay bills and as we gotta do what we gotta do to be fruitful, as it pertains to the society we live in, what we gotta do. In other words, we gotta eat. We gotta pay bills. We want to get out. We want to have some kind of fun, all that good stuff. So we got to do something. Either you got your business, you got your hustle. I don't care what it's called. Let me tell you what you got to do in order to make it. You got to work, right? So all of us work some way, shape, form, or fashion. I love what I do. I don't have what some people classify as a 9-to-5, quote unquote, with that attitude. I'm dynamic at what I do. I'm good at what I do. I get fantastic results at what I do. I inspire, I grow, I develop myself and others in what I do. And it was not always like that. And I have matured and learned from so many mistakes. And I'm going to tell you, I've had to work to get better in that capacity and yet do things like what I'm doing with the podcast. And then there's other people that have their schedules, things come up. I'm determined to keep it going. And I said every Monday was going to be an episode. So y'all hang tight with me. I'm still on that series of Sex and Soul Ties. So that's going to be going on until Spirit changes the topic. All right. But I love y'all. I'm just sharing, y'all. I'm just sharing. I love y'all. I didn't get on here to get into anything super deep. I just missed my turn. Whoa, about to run a stop sign too. All right, y'all, that's a sign. It's time for me to cut this joint off and attend to paying attention to where I'm at and what I'm doing so I can get to my house, y'all. Deuces. I love y'all. And I ain't just saying that. I ain't talking shit. I love y'all, for real. Peace.